Alright, hi everyone, Björkvin here, and I'm super excited to introduce to you BYOGI, your home studio music production mentor, who is on demand, available 24/7, and it's like having a music production mentor in your pocket. And he's trained on all 15 years of, actually 20 years of audio experience and 15 years of audio issues content, which includes all of my books, all of the blog posts that I've written throughout the years on the website, and all sorts of other stuff that I have kept locked away in the vault that I'm constantly updating, so it actually will get smarter over time. But I wanted to show you a quick demo of just how great BYOGI is at helping you get out of a creative rut, eliminate roadblocks when it comes to mixing your music, and getting in-depth practical advice and tips that are designed around your tracks and what you are struggling with, so that you can laser focus on solving those problems and move forward with your mixes and your music. So how I'm going to show you this demo is basically I have prepared a few questions here that are actually from Audio Issues students. These are questions that they've sent me and I've answered either via blog posts, via email, or just sent them the resources. But I wanted to share with you just how good it is at understanding your situation and giving you practical advice that helps you move on to the next step. So the first question here is, I'm planning on writing 3 songs for a school assignment. I'm writing 2 songs that will want you to get up and dance, and 1 that makes you feel more emotion. Any advice on instrument, chords, or specific notes that I should use, or even ones I should avoid to make the emotions more real? So that's a really elaborate question. Basically, it's a 2-part question and then asking for a bunch of specifics around that question. It should give you some detailed advice to help you move forward. All right, let's see what it has to say. See that it's searching the knowledge that I have loaded into it. It's not just ChatGPT on steroids. It actually has copyrighted and proprietary information that I've only released in books. And it also is funny. It's actually designed to have my personality in a way, a little self-deprecating, slightly snarky. It makes a ton of stupid jokes, references to pop culture, Marvel, video games, things of that nature. And it'll only get funnier over time, I hope. But here, let's see what it came up with. So some introduction here. So it's actually getting advice from a person, it's not just the facts regurgitated from you. It's actually written in such a way that actually makes it fun to read and then gives you inspiration to move on forward with your music. So songs that make you dance. This is, as you remember, he had 2 songs that were upbeat and 1 song that was more of a ballad. And it gives you the chords, the instrumentation, and some pro tips on making the most of those productions. And then it gives you the same with the emotional introspective song or the ballad, right? Gives you chord progressions to try out, gives you instrumentation advice that sort of caters to those genres that you're trying to do, and also gives you things to avoid, because we did ask what to avoid. And then it also asks you follow-up questions. So if you want help picking out the exact chord progression, melodies, or sample instrument combination for each song, you can even mock up a basic structure for each one. So this is pretty in-depth and gives you tons of things to think about and starting points, so that you don't have to look at an empty DAW and you can actually start making some progress on your music when you are starting to write it. Let's look at the next question and see what we come up with. All right, describe the process you have for mixing vocals into a track so that they aren't too loud or lost in the mix. Do you carve an EQ hole for the vocal frequency? Compression? ? In my mixes, I seem to get vocals that are too loud for my preference. No one has mentioned it to me, but I'm not sure how to do the EQ hole or space where the vocals fit in like the other instruments, as opposed to vocals being so dominant. So this is a pretty in-depth question too. Lots of things to think about there. And what you can do is, if you want to have an in-depth question like that, it's perfectly fine. It'll give you a lot of information to go on, but you can also cut up your question into smaller pieces, and that way it'll understand more of the process of where you're at in the mix or in your music production process, and it'll tailor those answers to you. But let's paste this in and see what BYOGI comes up with. Are these vocals too loud, or am I just insecure about them? Definitely can relate to that. There's the personality shining through. And it gives you the step-by-step mixing vocals, so they sit in the mix, not on top of it. That's exactly what we are looking for, or exactly what this question is looking for, and what most people are looking for when they are mixing vocals into a track. And it doesn't just give you the exact advice based on the situation you mentioned. It also tries to understand your specific situation and maybe starts a little bit further back. Like here, it starts with a balanced rough mix, right? It doesn't just focus on the vocals. It starts with more of a holistic approach around the mix. And then it gives you detailed advice on compression, EQ, reverb, automation, things like that. And then sometimes it gives you this too long didn't read. Obviously that's not as helpful than the in-depth tips here, but fun to see nonetheless. It gives you lots of different ways of consuming the content so that you can get those tips and get that advice immediately so you can move on. All right, final question here. Not remembering the how-tos for adding saturation to an individual track or final master track. So these are two separate things. How do you do saturation on a track versus saturation on a master track? Those are two slightly different things. Could you provide a link or sage advice on how to add saturation to a project? Can it be done with EQing, or is it more effective to use a plugin? If plugins, can you suggest a low-cost or free plugin to add saturation? Thanks a ton. So remember, these are questions that I actually received, and I'm pasting them in here because I know that BYOGI will give them even better advice than I could possibly do myself, because I don't always remember every single thing that I've written in the last 15 years, right? And it's thinking, which is actually kind of a good thing. It's thinking, what's the best advice here? Saturation, it gives you that little intro. That's always fun to read. And then it goes into, it doesn't just give you the tips based on the question, it also gives you a little overview over everything. Well, what is saturation? Where do you use saturation in a mix, on individual tracks, and then on buses or master tracks? So those are two different things, right? And here's a pro tip. If you don't like this answer, or it doesn't give you exactly what you want, you can just prompt it to like, can you elaborate on this part? Let's just do that right now. Can you elaborate more on mix or master bus saturation to, what was it? Let's just to add polish, cohesion, and vibe, question mark. Boom. And then it does that. Mix bus saturation, one of those secret sauce techniques that make your mix go from sounds good to, wait, did I just mix this? And then let's break it down in Björkman style. All right, practical, playful, and step-by-step. What is mix bus, master bus saturation? And it just goes into that. So every time you want to have BYOGI elaborate on something it already told you, you just ask it. You just keep chatting with it. It's basically as if it's a mentor that you're emailing back and forth or texting with back and forth, and you can ask them all sorts of questions and you get really detailed practical advice back, with a little bit of snark and funny jokes, which is always a plus and a lot more fun than just talking to ChatGPT. So that gives you a little taste of what BYOGI has to offer, and also so that you don't start off with a blank page here, I'm including 100 prompts for you to use for BYOGI that are all designed around the creative music production process. They range from how to get out of a creative rut and get over those obstacles that are keeping you from creating, to pre-producing your song, mixing your song, mastering your song, and getting that out there. So every single part of the music production process is in there, and then I will be adding lots more to BYOGI as we go along. So super excited to share this with you, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. Do tell me what you are using it for, and tell me how it has helped you achieve more with your music. Go check out BYOGI using the link below. It's in the button probably somewhere below this video somewhere. Go check that out and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Björkman from Audio Issues. I'll see you on the inside.